Hi everybody, Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 4 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here today to talk about the subject of arguments or heated discussions. Those interactions that we find ourselves in that seem to be just generating more problems than solutions. This comes from a quote that I love. It's from M. Scott Peck. He says, "Discussions become destructive when they begin to generate more heat than light." I like that because I think it really speaks to, okay, what's the purpose of the discussion? Are we trying to become enlightened? Are we trying to have more awareness, shine a light on another person's perspective so that we can learn more about it? Are we trying to find an enlightened solution? Are we just generating heat? Are we trying to convince each other of the righteousness of our perspective? Because if you notice when we get into those how it feels, we get kind of tense. We start to use extremes. You always do this. You never do this. And of course the other person goes, well, that's not never true or always true. And here we go, kind of debating extremes. What I encourage us to do instead is to really ask ourselves the question, what's the purpose of the discussion? What are we trying to solve here? And is this particular road we're going down, especially if it's becoming more heated, is it really serving our highest purpose? Is this a discussion we would have in front of our children and want them to emulate what we saw? Now, if we determine that the discussion is indeed generating more heat than light, we can use that as good information. If we're in a relationship with someone or have a friendship with someone where we can say, you know, I'm not sure this discussion is really being as productive as we want it to be. Why don't we kind of both think about this and come back and talk about it when we're kind of a little bit more purposeful? If we're in a relationship with someone who can hear that, that's wonderful. If not, we can always say something like, you know, you're making a lot of really good points, and I want to make sure I give them the thought and purposefulness that they deserve. Let me think about this for a little bit, and let me get back with you. How about we talk again and then give them a time or suggest a time? That way they don't think you're just blowing them off, and they believe that you're going to be thinking about what they've said, which of course they want you to do. And I think it's a good idea to think about what they said. Try to extract the extreme and or the problem and or the frustration from the good information. Chances are they're bringing up something that is valuable and really deserves a hearing. And yet, the problem is when the discussion becomes heated, the hearing goes out the window. Now it just becomes an argument or a kind of a fight or flight situation. Either we are trying to convince the other person that they're wrong, or we're just sitting back and kind of listening and not saying anything, almost kind of meekly taking whatever they are dishing out. Neither one of those are particularly productive. So again, what I encourage us to do is to pay attention to this question. Is this discussion I'm in generating more heat or more light? If it's generating more light, even if it's intense, and yet we are becoming enlightened, we are learning things, stay with it. That's really important. But if you're noticing that what you're thinking is more frustration or resentment than it is clarity, confidence, and creativity, then I suggest we use that as really good information to end that conversation and begin it again another time. Because what I've often found is when we begin it again another time, we've thought about it, they thought about it, chances are the whole discussion has the potential to have changed because of the thought we have both given to it. I hope this is helpful. I try to keep these videos short, but I also know that we find ourselves in interactions daily sometimes that really don't serve us, and I wanted to give you a new tool to begin to look at those interactions in a different way. So, here is to you bringing more clarity, confidence, and creativity to everything you do, and to engaging in conversations that are more about enlightenment than they are about a heated discussion. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.